Hi, it's Matthew Dixon of mindaid.ca. And when I was diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was 22, they, the doctor came in, they'd assessed me for a while, and he said, we think you've got schizophrenia. So that was a bombshell. I had to absorb that, and I didn't have much to go on. There wasn't much literature on schizophrenia at the time, and I I asked a nurse when I was in the psych ward. I said, "How if people get better from this, how long might it take?" And she said, "Sometimes it takes a couple years before people feel like themselves again." And I didn't know where she got that 2 year number from, but that's kind of all I had to go on. And I remember sitting in the psych ward at some point later and thinking, okay, what should I do? Should I try to fight this disease, or should I say bye to the planet, as sad as that would be? And I know now from other people who survived suicide, that many people regret it. They they don't want to do it. The instant they try to take their lives, they instantly regret it. Kevin Hines, he's a suicide advocate. He tried to kill himself, and the instant he tried, he instantly regretted it. And he knows now. He says he still has suicidal thoughts, but he knows now that no matter what happens, he'll get through it because he just can. When you think you've got nothing left in the tank, you do. I call it hope beyond hope. When you lose hope, there's still hope. Hope beyond your own hope. And so I was sitting there in the psych ward, and I thought, okay, what should I do? Should I try to kill myself? Because I didn't know much about suicide back then, and that there's hope for you. And, or should I try to fight this? And in a matter of seconds, I don't know why, I had no pros and cons go through my head. I said, I'm going to try to fight this. So I said, okay, now that I've made that decision, how am I going to do this? And in a matter of seconds, again, no real thought put behind it, no pros and cons or options. I said, this is my strategy. I said, I'm going to put my life on hold. I accept the fact that I'll do nothing that I enjoy for 2 years. My life was very painful back then. And this is going on the 2 years that that nurse had told me in the psych ward. And again, I don't know where she got that number from. I'm going to put my life on hold for 2 years. If, if, not, not for sure, but if in 2 years I'm better, I'll pick my life up from where I left off and move on. 2 years came and went. I wasn't where I wanted to be. I said, okay, I'll try for another year. Another year came and went, 3 years. Still wasn't where I wanted to be. So I tried for another year. And after that, the years kind of blended in. I just kept going. And you reach a point where you've gone so far you can't turn back, because I kept making progress. It was slow, glacially slow progress, but progress nonetheless. And I learned that the early part of the disease it's very painful, but after the initial part of it, things the pain lessens. You're able to do more things. You're able to go out and about in public. I did some volunteer work. I finished my degree. I had to fail out of my degree in '94, and I took 3 courses over the next 3 years and graduated in '97. And yeah, that was a big day when I graduated. It was a big day to have that degree behind me, finally. And it was an engineering degree. So yeah, that's sort of my story of my strategy. So it's taken me 27 years to get my health back. February 11th of 2021, this year, the pain left me. I've got a friend who had postpartum depression. She remembers the moment her pain left her. She was standing at the kitchen counter, and February 11th it just left. And it's like I've been tormented from severe to mild for 27 years, and it stopped about 2 months ago, and I've had time now to actually think and reflect on what I've been through. It's when you're fighting it, you kind of don't have time to reflect, and that might be part. That's probably part of the disease too, where one of the symptoms of the disease is difficulty thinking about intangible things, concepts. Disorganized thinking is another symptom. So the last couple months, I've really been able to think and reflect on what I've been through. It's like doing a debriefing after some accident or something, and the trauma's finally over. You get to actually think about it and say, "Whoa, like what happened?" And I know people would say, "Well, Matthew, you've known you've had schizophrenia since 1994. What do you mean reflect on? What do you mean? Don't haven't you had time to think about this?" In some ways, yes, I have. In other ways, no, I haven't. So yeah, it's I'm trying to just think about what I've been through and learn from it. There's a book that I talk about a lot. It's called The Survivor Personality by Al Siebert, and he says that people who survive things, natural disasters, the Holocaust, alcoholism, cancer, you name it, they all say the same thing. People who they say, I would never ever want to go through that experience again, but it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. That's what I'm trying to get. Me, myself, I'm trying to get to a point where I can say that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. It's coming. I grow stronger mentally thinking about this as the days go on, but it's tough going through that for so long. You can do it. It's possible. There's hope for lots of people. It is tough. It's I have two messages for people. One is it's very tough. The other is even though it's very tough, you can still get through it. And yeah, so that's kind of where I am. And my story back in the hospital of saying, I'm going to fight this. I'm so thankful I did. I get to enjoy my life now. I get to look at sunsets now. I get to listen to the birds sing. I remember in 2019, I started being able to pay attention to the leaves rustling in the trees. It was very nice just to sit there and listen to that. So, yeah, the pain was still there. I still wasn't good, but I could enjoy stuff like that. Even, I mean, I look back on it now and I think, well, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there was enjoyment creeping in. And at the time, you think, I don't want to be going through this. My life is awful. But there are things that happen to you. And those things, even though they may not seem like they register at the time, they do register. And you can look back on it and say, yeah, like I made improvements there. I was never happy about my improvements because I was never totally fine. I was always I was always wanting to get better. And I could never be happy with where I was. But I was very, at the same time, even though I couldn't feel super happy, I was happy that I was always making progress. And that was, I can look back on it now and say, yeah, I'm very thankful for that. Just to enjoy life again, to feel peace and contentment, to enjoy being in nature, to enjoy watching a movie, to enjoy having a conversation with somebody. It's amazing how much enjoyment there is in life. It's amazing because I couldn't feel it. I couldn't even remember it. It's like you can't even remember what it's like to be happy. And yeah, it's a real treat to simply be alive now. Hope that helps some of you.